Well, hello, guys. It's Danny Deals. Thank you for tuning in to Un Poco Mas, the show where we give you just a little bit more. Hope you guys had a great 4th of July. I know I certainly enjoyed myself, got a little rest, and I am back again. Glad to be with you on behalf of Hurricane Lopez and Stock. Karen, we would like to say welcome and hello. And hello and welcome. Of course, we're talking SoFi stock, ticker symbol SOFI. The SoFi stock was down 14 cents or 1.64% on the day. Our first full day of trading after the half day on Monday and the holiday on Tuesday. And up 4 of those cents again after hours to close a thin dime on the day, including the after hours action. Guys, do you see a wedge? I see wedges everywhere, but I think if you cut off these sort of outliers, the pump and dumps, the dump and pumps, here pushed below 8, guys, I see it. Of course, I see what I want to see, but it's not imaginary. This range getting more and more narrow and more controlled and less volume. Guys, the volume is gone from the stock. 26 million shares today. And if you look at the short, guys, the net borrowed change was like 650,000. So with 26 million shares traded, that net borrowed change represents 2.4% approximately, or 2.5%. I'm just using rough numbers here, guys. I'm not going share by share, but just by rounding off, you're talking 2.5% of the churn was that net borrowed change. So without all that, the stock would have been up today, guys. The stock would have been up on limited volume, but you see this building. This has to go up, in my opinion. In my opinion, guys. When I look at this chart, this is going up. This from here to here was not a pump and dump, guys. This was a reset. Look how far back this blue line sort of carries the stock. I mean, if you cut out the outliers, you're talking about going back to March. And this trend line could very well hold up, guys. And if it does, shareholders are going to be really happy. We can cross 9 in July, and you know it doesn't have to be immediate, guys. You don't need immediate gratification if you're a long-term shareholder. There will be ups and downs, but people talking about, oh, I'm just going to buy again at 650 and accumulate there. I think you're kidding yourself, guys. SoFi, one of the big announcements here, they've scheduled a conference call for July 31st to discuss the Q2 earnings. Guys, down in the comments, what do you expect for earnings? Listen, we have had 5 cent loss the last 2 quarters. Analysts are expecting 6 cent loss. Guys, 5 cents is not good enough. Noto and LaPointe set up beats however they want to set them up. But guys, we need to see a 2 cent loss or a 1 cent loss. Otherwise, we're going to get absolutely hammered. And guys, we're probably going to get hammered anyway. I mean, it's going to be like hammer time. Those big pants with the patterns on them from the 80s. Come on. Or no, sorry, the 90s, early 90s. But anyway, guys, what do you think is going to happen for earnings? The trajectory had been very strong for the last like 6 quarters, but we've been stalled at 5 cents a share. Let me know, has there been too much dilution, too much acquisition, just too many shares? Do you think it's attributable to it's certainly not attributable to shorting. I mean, these are business operations. It has nothing to do with the price action of the stock, other than it sort of restricts SoFi's ability to make moves, which I think is the whole point, guys. Look at the narrative. This is a great example. Investor placed is crap on SoFi, absolutely nonstop. And there's 3 meme stocks to sell before they do your portfolio in. Joel Bogle, Baghole, makes some great analysis tying us in with GameStop and Tilray brands. SoFi, he sums it up like, okay, the firm claimed it lost 300 million revenue due to the pause. Supreme Court plan struck down Biden's plan, and then he closes it out. SoFi is a risky meme stock. That's just a declarative sentence by Joe Baghole. SoFi is a risky meme stock. The numbers don't indicate that. I mean, the numbers, you see a company that sold 600 million, then a billion, then 1.5, and they're going to sell over 2 this year. I mean, look at the growth, guys. Any which way you slice it, and especially the deposits and the direct deposits. I mean, those figures are absolutely out of this world, guys. They're absolutely fantastic. Want to head over to if you look at the ratings, guys, on the stock. This just shows another way to look at the wedge, guys, that I believe is just absolutely inevitable. Um, in the SoFi stock, going back a couple of weeks, I see support, guys, clearly above $8. And I told you 813 to 891, we'd see some brief consolidation, which we're seeing now, and then the stock is going to leg up well above $10. And I stand firmly behind that prediction. But in any case, guys, if you take a look at the calls, I don't want to dwell on the Chia Pet. He's a turd. Of course, he downgraded again, guys. He reiterated his downgrade for the fourth time since his hold rating. So that's 5 notes. And then he also made some revisions. So he's probably had like 7 negative notes on SoFi in 1 quarter. Never seen anything like this because Eugene Simuni from MoffettNathanson issues a buy rating at 10. So, of course, the masters at Wedbush tell the Chia Pet, hey, reiterate your sell rating. And he's like, guys, I'm going to look absolutely ridiculous. And they're like, you already look ridiculous. Remember who you are, you little twat. And he's like, oh my God. I don't know what they have on this guy. I'm sure he's a legit guy. He seems legitimate. It seems like legitimate to downgrade from, 250 after you had 12 and a buy just, a little over a year before. Seems legit. I mean, seems totally legit. But in any case, guys, so if you look at SoFi, like you're looking at $8.35 moderate buy, but the actual rating from Moffett, that's a new rating. Like he's actually coming in with something. It's not just the Chia Pet reiterating, for the fifth time this quarter. So he says, reiterates outperform rating, a $10 price target out. He, said removes a significant amount of uncertainty and looks at SoFi's market leading student loan business. The analyst tells investors in a research note, it's not the entirety, not even 50% of SoFi's business. He sees several sources of upside for the shares. And I completely agree. Some in-depth, hard-hitting analysis by Eugene Simuni from MoffettNathanson. Clearly a powerhouse titan in the ratings industry. Nothing comparing to Wedbush and the Chia Pet. But guys, the SoFi stock, what do you expect to see at earnings? This is critical for the stock price. I don't think it's critical long term, but obviously SoFi has a tendency to get absolutely hammered at earnings. Do you expect that to happen yet again, no matter what happens? Obviously, if we see a net profit or a break even, I think the stock's going to explode, quite frankly, because that would be, 6 cent plus beat. And I think that would be quite extraordinary given the recent history of the company and the economic conditions the company has been operating under. But if you see the growth of the personal loan business and you see the interest rates, net interest income is going to be very, very strong, guys. And that's just a fact. And we're seeing that. Obviously, we've seen the short interest go up 50% in the last 3 months. We saw it go from 11.67 to 16 overnight for no particular reason on purpose. But guys, that's the SoFi stock. That's how things go. Like the media is going to tell you it's a crap stock, and that way their buddies can short the stock to the tune of 16% and then create this false narrative through the media, through analysts, that the stock is in big trouble, despite the math and the earnings reports saying the opposite, and the executives, the people that actually know what they're talking about, saying the opposite. The media is going to tell you things are weakening, things are in big trouble. The CAGR is going to be 15% or 12% for the next 5 years. And management's telling you, no, it's going to be in the 22% or whatever region. You got to ask yourself, who are you going to believe? What do you think's going to happen here, guys? What do you think this pattern indicates? Um, I see the stock going up. I see the stock going up to my target of 1375 and above on net profit. As long as growth is still in the 20s, guys, as long as they're growing the top line in the 20s with their margins, making a net profit, anybody can do math and see that this is going to be a free cash flow machine. As you get more into the wheel strategy, selling people multiple products, but a lot of their members are new guys, just added in the last couple of years. Let's face it, they've grown, from basically a little tiny acorn to this little sapling we see now, and we think over the next couple of decades they will burgeon into a giant oak. Guys, not really that much to say. There hasn't been a whole hell of a lot of news on the SoFi stock. It has consolidated sort of as predicted between, my level was 813 to 891, but it's getting tighter and tighter, guys. I mean, you see volume completely coming out of the stock, market makers shorting the hell out of the stock. Something has to give, guys. And I think Noto, I don't think he's an idiot, guys. He knows what they're going to do. He knows when they're going to make a net profit, and he owns like almost 1% of the entire shares of the company, guys. He's put a ton of his own money into this thing, buying shares even at these levels, and I think he bought shares even higher than this. But down in the fives, he was adding like a madman, making market buys $500,000 at a time, numerous times, guys. So he puts his money where his mouth is. They say there is only one reason insiders buy stock at the market with their own cash, and that is because they feel the stock is undervalued. And who is in a better place to know that than Anthony Noto and, in fact, Chris Lapointe, who also bought shares? Guys, they create the narrative that basically everyone's dumping the SoFi stock. That it said again in a couple of the articles that institutions basically hate the stock, and the fact that a few people sold a few shares of the stock is should not indicate that, yeah, like Citadel sold out. But if you actually look at the last reported dates, you'll see BlackRock adding, holding 36 million. Vanguard adding over 1 million shares. They have 70 million. State Street has 12 million. Geode has 12 million. JP Morgan's probably short the stock, those turds. But in any case, same with Credit Suisse and all these little, bit stinky players. But Silver Lake still has a ton of shares, guys. Like, I think almost a quarter billion worth of shares. So there are a lot of institutions in the stock. Yes, there are a lot of retail investors in the stock, and I know that is used against the stock because retail investors tend to get very emotional, trade on FOMO, panic sell when and set sort of stupid stop losses. But this is the world we live, and if you're going to invest in the stock, you have to put up with manipulation until we can get some real ratios with a real net profit, and we can determine how much free cash flow the stock is going to make in the future. Until we get to net profit, it seems pretty obvious that market makers just don't care about all the huffing and puffing. They want to see net profit, or they're going to keep destroying the stock after every single earnings, whether management wants to call it a beat or not. Like, they don't care. They look at it as you're losing money. And that's the way the market looks at it. That's the way it's reported. That's the way shorts like it, and they're in charge. But I think, guys, the short interest at 16% is very, very foolhardy. I think there are numerous announcements, numerous things such as Galileo, which is oft overlooked, could come in and land a big fish, and I think that would send the stock up in a hurry. I think net profit could come earlier than expected, say for instance Q3, God forbid even Q2, but if it comes earlier than expected, I think it's a game changer. I think that the stock is going to go up past my price target of 13.75. Guys, just wanted to check in with you all. Nothing big going on with the stock, but after a vacation, getting way, way too much sun the last few days in a beach resort luxury type of operation, or not really, but anyway, we had a great time, great holiday. Hope you guys did too. My name is Danny Deals. This has been Un Poco Mas. The SoFi stock is down about 1% on the day on very low volume. We expect earnings to be reported in just over 3 weeks, which will be on a Monday pre-market. What do you think they're going to report? And perhaps more importantly, whatever they report, whether it's a meager beat or a real beat, what do you think the market response is going to be? I predict short attack, dumping, and the stock getting absolutely clobbered unless it's a net profit. Guys, let me know what you think. It's Danny Deals. Going to cut this thing short for me. I know I'm usually a bit verbose, but I am exhausted. Been fighting the 405 in sweltering temperatures, and I think I deserve a reward such as a froyo or something of that nature. Guys, hope you have a great night. We'll check in with you tomorrow when the turds attack the SoFi stock yet again. Thanks for watching Un Poco Mas, guys. Topper time check. It's 6:48 p.m. out in beautiful Los Angeles on July 5th, 2023. Hope it's a great night wherever you find yourself. Let's see what the stock does tomorrow, and I'll talk to you real soon. Hope you guys had a great 4th. I'll be back with you tomorrow. Un poco más, un poquito.